Hello, and welcome to the Winded Podcast, a place where we share stories of the times in life that remind us that we're alive. From adventures to challenges, these stories are here to inspire. And today we have an incredible guest on to continue the Overcoming series, a series that we're doing here where guests share tough life challenges that they faced and what good that they're doing in the world, not in spite of it, but because of
Mhm.
it. And our guest today is not only a dear friend of mine, but also a very accomplished entrepreneur and
Mhm.
beyond.
Hmm.
And as I was preparing this intro, I realized that she has created an insane amount into the world just since I've met her about 3 years ago. So when I did meet her, she already owned a powerful coaching business for women, JP Empowerment, which she still runs. And since then, she's also become certified in hypno breathwork. She's written a book, Shit Happens, Breathe Through It. She's co founded a professional women's community, Elevated Women. She has beat breast cancer. Woot woot! And she's created an online clothing brand called Flatties Wear to normalize being flat after breast cancer and also to raise awareness and support the breast cancer community.
Mhm.
So, what a list that is. And beyond just her accomplishments, she is just an amazing human. She
Aw.
is probably one of the funniest people that I know and just one of the most unique people that I've ever met. So,
Hmm.
welcome on, Jondrea Phelps-Hell.
Aw, thank you, Klein. I'm tearing up over here. My heart is
Oh,
just throbbing. Thank you. That was such a sweet introduction. And yeah,
oh.
I am a bit unhinged, ain't I? I'm so happy. Like my name being unique, yep, that brings on the personality for sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
thank you
Yeah.
for having me, Klein.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for coming on. I know you have a lot going on, but it's like every
Mhm.
time that we sit down, it feels like this is all that there is. So I
Yes.
appreciate your presence
Mhm.
and your time so
Mhm.
much.
You're welcome. I feel the same way. Like, I feel like the world stops when you and I are together and like the heart just opens up and our
Hmm.
souls just open up and nothing else exists when we're together. And I love our time together because of that.
Yeah, me too. It's always a blessing. So let's start first with what are you up to now? Is there anything fun you've been working on that you want to share? Person Personal or professional?
Personal or professional. well, I think to give a little bit of background to what I'll share is that you had mentioned in introduction is that I beat breast cancer and that was my journey in 2025 and it's still my journey because once you have cancer, you are always on a cancer journey. It never ends, to be honest with you. And there's a journey out after cancer that nobody really speaks about and relates to your identity. And so, with that, this last year, I've now officially been 12 months cancer free. Um,
Woohoo!
yes, yes. I have been shedding my old identities. And when I say identities, is because we encompass multiple identities throughout our lifetime, depending on the season of life we are in. And so I've been shedding those and rediscovering who I am now for this season. And alongside that, this last 6 months, especially, um, I have shedded a lot of my coaching business actually and rebirthing it to align in who I am becoming. Because even though I had the most successful year in 2025 of my coaching business, once I went through the journey of cancer, it didn't feel aligned anymore. So I have been shedding it and rebirthing it and getting to know it And in the next few weeks, there'll be a reveal of the rebranding and the clientele that I will be serving, as well as opportunities to receive my services of one on one, but group online coaching opportunities, as well as opportunities to purchase single hypno breathwork sessions with me. So that is what I've been focusing on tremendously in the last few weeks as I've gained a lot of clarity on the direction that I want to take with my coaching business. And on a personal side, just coming into a season, I have 3 daughters, as you know, Klein. My oldest one is 24 and getting married, and coming into a season of planning weddings for your children, it's like, I don't know how that is really possible because my heart says I'm 25 myself, so I don't know how I have a 24-year-old. And I have a 21-year-old daughter who's finding herself, and my youngest daughter will be 18 soon. And so we're coming into like almost empty nesting as well, as most of them don't live with us except for one, but she is working towards getting out on her own here as she becomes an adult, and just navigating downsizing our home too. My husband is an entrepreneur as well, and different seasons calls for different space. And we've just discovered that the space that we're living in now is just not fitting for us or aligned with us. So navigating moving and moving in a place that I've never experienced before, but I'm excited for that adventure. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
wow.
hmm
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's a sounds like a lot of really cool transitions that are all
Mhm,
based around fitting, as you mentioned when you started talking about all this, of fitting your new identity.
mhm,
And the question that comes to mind is, what do you see as your new
mhm.
identity that you're discovering right now? Even if it's not,
Yeah,
totally put together, or, you may not know 100% yet. But how would
yeah.
you describe the new Jondrea?
The new Jondrea. Um, I would describe the new Jondrea as somebody who is truly on a journey of embodying her soul and
Mm,
her heart unashamedly without guilt,
mm,
and someone who is completely not perfected and makes mistakes. But I am someone now that can look at these mistakes, these hiccups in life, these disruptions in life as true opportunities to grow, to expand, and to love it versus have anger or hatred towards them,
mm,
frustration. I feel that's who I am now, where previously I would be described as I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a friend, I'm a breast cancer thriver. Um, I don't look at those things as my identity. I look at
mm.
those things that I have been given the honor to navigate, and those things make me discover who I really am. And that is that person that's just really on this revolutionary journey of, embracing my soul, embodying it. hmm
So, what would you say are a couple words to describe this version of you who's totally you, in line
hmm
with your soul, that haven't fully let come forward yet for whatever reason?
hmm hmm I think one word would be scared.
Mm.
Being able to admit that I'm scared,
Mhm.
that I'm uncomfortable, but certain in my uncomfortability, because knowing that what I'm scared of on the other side of it is my ultimate destiny.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, finger snap to that shit. Yeah. So like I think that's the best thing. Like I will share, I have lived with debilitating anxiety for over 30 years. And I can say now that that no longer debilitates me, that I don't want to say reframe, but recognize the anxiety is being uncomfortable with something. And
Mm.
why am I uncomfortable? And distinguish whether that is I'm trying to predict the future, which I cannot control, Or is it something because it is expansive and it's different and I haven't experienced it before, you know?
Mm,
Um, and so that's been a really big part of this last year. And I've shared this with you too, is like when you endure something like cancer, I can't control that I have cancer, but we can certainly control how we respond, and our responses are going to dictate that experience. And so I was able to choose that experience, and I was able to take it as one of my biggest life lessons ever. And I'm so grateful for that journey because it's leading me into a more expansive human being that has an incredible soul that's just been screaming to get out her entire life and is finally coming out. Yeah.
mm, I love it. And what I've noticed since I've known you is that you constantly are evolving
Mm,
and
mhm,
asking those questions about how can I show more of my soul and discover
mm,
more of who I am.
mhm.
And for those who don't know what hypno breath work is, can you
Yeah.
describe what it is? And I know it's made a huge impact on your life. So maybe like
Mhm.
mention the number one thing that's really helped you overcome.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yes, hypnobreathwork has been the modality that has allowed me to be who I am today and allowed me to thrive through my cancer journey and allowed me to thrive through any other harsh challenges, shit that life throws at you. um, so, and I, hypno breath work is a combination of hypnosis, breath work, and visionary. And what that allows us to do is increase oxygen in our bodies, decrease carbon dioxide using the breath. The hypnosis is done by the cues that are given by somebody who is certified to guide hypnosis. And visionary is reprogramming the mind because through this process, you're creating new neural pathways that need to know what the heck to do. And so it's allowing ourselves to reframe our mind, but also ultimately get in touch with our intuition. And our intuition lays in the subconscious mind where 95% of our memories are, our thoughts are, where our behaviors are, the root of our behaviors are. The other 5% is your conscious mind, and that is where, as humans, we are taught, we are conditioned to live in. So it's very limited. But our intuition, when we're able to access that, the intuition has all the answers you need. All the answers you'll ever need are within you. And this hypno breathwork allows you to access that. It allows you to access memories and experiences and knowledge that are so deeply rooted that may prevent you from healing from trauma, from being creative, from being authentic. And once you do get those, the world is really in the palm of your hands of what you can accomplish and do. And so for me, I came across hypnobreath work going on almost 4 years ago. And I am a person with a background in clinical psychology and behavioral sciences. I've had therapists in and out of my life since I was 14 years old. I would do prescription drugs, recreational drugs, alcohol to help me cope and deal with my anxiety and my depression most of my life. But then when I experienced hypnobreathwork for the very first time, I had received this ultimate relief, but also release I had been searching for 30 years. I knew approximately where my anxiety and depression was coming from, but not necessarily getting to the root of it and reprogramming it. We can talk about it, but I needed to be able to release it from my body, from my heart, from my soul. And hypnobreathwork gave me that. So when I received that first session and that first relief and release, I needed to explore it more. And I became really like obsessed with it and started doing it every day. And then I became certified in it. And now I use it as the primary modality of my coaching business. And I've had not just myself, but in my business and with my clients, the most profound, impactful, long term transformation things I've ever seen in anybody um, in my line of work. So, yeah, it's incredible. They say several other psychologists and psychiatrists have said that they're noticing one session of hypno breath work equals to 2 years of psychotherapy. So that's how profound and impactful this work is. We have many now therapists coming into the modality of hypnobreathwork and getting certified because they have noticed that their talk therapy is actually really surface level in comparison to what hypnobreathwork can do. So I'm a believer that a combination of both of them is really, really incredible. And yeah, I love it and I'm addicted to it and I will take it to my grave. I will take it to my grave because I truly feel it has saved me, not just from anxiety and depression, but it helped me immensely through my cancer journey. Um, it allowed me, I feel, to really help myself heal my body and become cancer free, especially for me when treatments weren't working. So it's just, I have such a love relationship with this hypnobreathwork. Hmm.
I'm really grateful to experience some of that too. It's more of, I would say, I do it when I feel called to it, and
Yeah.
every time I do it, it is super transformational. My experience with hypno breath work is you kind of get right into the emotion of things, or like, those emotions that are just under the surface that, like, if I don't take the time to really just sit and be, all these emotions can build up, and they're
Hmm.
just sitting there right beneath the surface. And I found hypno breath work helps those come out a lot. And then the visioning part of it too is really powerful. And
Hmm.
people that know me know I love all things intuition.
Yeah.
And some of the most clear, intuitive steps that I've received have been through hypno breath work. And here's what else I love about the visioning piece of it. And one thing through my own process of healing that's been a huge concept is that when we envision something with our eyes closed, our body actually thinks it's happening. And so that can work both ways for us, which for one can be not so great if we're reliving painful things that have happened in life, but we can flip that too. And that's, I think, where the reprogramming, which to me just means changing our viewpoint of past things so that we can recover and feel better about them. So, yeah, I from my experience with it too, and even times with you, we've done it together, um, have been so powerful. So I
Yeah.
also totally recommend whoever feels called to doing it to
Hmm.
try it, because
Yeah.
it's pretty powerful stuff in a great way. But again, as you mentioned, so important to have a trusted person who's certified to actually lead and facilitate those. That's really crucial, to
Hmm.
have someone who knows what they're doing, has experience, and is certified.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. It's wonderful. Like I said, I've used it to help me through my cancer journey and help me clear blocks and things, even from especially the inner child when you're a child, when most of your conditioning and training to come into the conscious mind and ignore the subconscious and your intuition happens between 0 and 7. It allows you to go back into that and get rid of limiting beliefs. I use it every day to help me in my business, especially when I need to be creative, but also um, to help me prepare and get grounded and get clarity before I work with a client. Sometimes I use it even to release some things that I end up consuming kind of when working with my clients as well. Or even like my husband and I use it in times of conflict with one another, so that we are speaking to each other and working through our difficulties from the heart versus from our conscious mind, the logical side of things too. Yeah.
Mm. So I feel like we should go a little bit deeper. I
Go
want to
for it.
know,
Bring it.
um, bring it on.
Bring it on, sister.
I'm curious what you feel like. I mean, I'm trying to frame this question in the right way because I'm sure you've had many pivotal moments in life, right? What was the most powerful one, would you say?
Mm, that is such a really great question, and one that I've never been asked. Wow.
Mm,
Um, and I think why it's so hard, just to give like your audience a little bit of a background, is from 2013 to now, my life has handed me divorce, assault, job loss, illness, not just cancer, but other things as well. Becoming a single mom, big, huge career changes from education into finances into entrepreneur world to finding the love of my life and getting remarried and navigating a blended family. So I've been handed a lot of stuff in the last 13 years. So, gosh, it's really hard. I feel I can go back to 2016 and then this last year.
mm,
I can't say one was more than the other because in 2016 it was the year after that I was assaulted, lost my job, had to move and was getting a divorce all at the same time. My cousin passed away. We witnessed somebody else die and I tried to save her and I didn't. Um, and I was living in my mom and dad's basement with my 3 daughters with $100 to my name. I mean, that there is a very pivotal moment, and I remember one night sitting on the couch going, "Is this what my life is meant to be? Jobless, divorced, grieving in physical, mental pain all the time with no money? Like, I can't believe this is what God has intended for me." And when I sat in that question, what I heard he said, "This isn't happening to you, Jondrea. This is happening for you." And that was a huge light bulb going, this was meant to break me because the direction that I was in was not where I needed to be and go and what he had planned for me.
mm,
I feel my cancer diagnosis was the same thing. And when I had received that diagnosis, I was in a frame mind of doing, do, working from the masculine side of my body. My feminine side of my body, the left side, had been turned off in dark for a very long time, and I knew that. Um, and I was just feeling like I was pushing a needle up a mountain with my nose each and every day. And I was a person that would take care of everybody else when I got that cancer diagnosis. And I think that cancer diagnosis led me to give me the belief that I get to choose my narrative. What happens to me does not dictate how my life should be, but is an opportunity for me to decide. Um, it taught me, and you taught me this. You brought this to my awareness. And I'm so grateful for it. And it came up recently again, and I'm going to get teary eyed over it because I'm just so grateful
mm,
for it.
mm. You have to-
It helped me recognize that I needed to hold space within myself to receive from others because I hold space for everybody else and I give space to everybody else, but I don't do it for myself.
mm,
So that was a huge lesson. And once I was able to receive, meaning I was forced to be still, to not work, not to do, not to help. I had to allow everybody else to come to me and help me and to be okay with that. That is when everything started flooding into me. My business expanded without me doing literally nothing. It was insane for me what was going on. What I accomplished during my cancer journey, I accomplished way more than I did in the 4 years of my coaching business. It was insane. So then once I received the news that I was finally cancer free, I'm supposed to be celebrating. It was also my 47th birthday. I had a lot to celebrate. My business was booming like crazy. My husband's business was too. We had these beautiful people. I got a second chance at life, right? But I found myself actually again in much pain and grief, sitting with both of them and celebrating at the same time. And I just couldn't celebrate. And so it brought me on this journey that, Jondrea, you still don't get it.
Mm,
You still don't get it. You kind of got it, but you're not there yet. You haven't mastered it yet. And so I am so grateful for that cancer journey, but also the year of 2016 when I went through all that other shit. I feel like
mm,
it was almost in preparation for my cancer journey, to be honest with you.
mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because when in 2016, I did start a more holistic healing journey versus deciding to go back and taking more prescription drugs and drinking more to numb, seeing the therapists and stuff, multiple therapists. I decided to try more of a holistic, energetic healing journey. And so I think that led me to, again, the hypno breathwork at the end here, um,
Mhm.
and helped me through my cancer journey and where I am today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Answer.
No
So
kidding. Oh, absolutely.
those have been
Yeah.
the biggest, but every day, there's a little bit, just a little bit
There's
that
something.
there is something. Like today, like
Mm,
seriously, like I went to put on my glasses and they broke. Yesterday, went to the eye doctor to order new contacts. And after 45 minutes of waiting just to order contacts, I had to leave because I had another appointment. So I didn't get to do that. So today I have to get new contacts, get my glasses fixed. And I'm like, okay, and I really don't have time for this, right? But so what is this showing me? What is this trying to
mhm,
teach me, right? So that's what I'm trying to
mhm.
figure out today. In addition, my child says, I need to go see a doctor. Okay, let's see. Where are we going to fit this in? Call the doctor.
Mhm,
So I have all these things that are adding up, and time isn't something that I feel I have. But so, what is all these little things that are coming up trying to show me today? What is it trying to teach
mm,
me? So,
mm.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do wanna circle back with a couple of questions, but on that note, I feel like what you mentioned about time and feeling like you never have enough
Mhm.
is a feeling.
Yeah, it's just a feeling, but it's not
Yeah.
reality.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We can circle back to that if we want, but before I forget, I wanna ask you something you said about your cancer journey stood out.
Mm.
And I have a couple loved ones that are going through their own cancer journey. And I feel like there's something about this receiving that seems to be a
Mhm.
theme. And you mentioned that you were operating from do for
Yeah.
so long and that your feminine side of your body essentially shut off. So, could you expand what you mean by that?
Yeah.
And also, like, the transformation, like, describe a little bit more. What was that like before versus after?
Mhm. Oh, I love that. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the masculine and the feminine side of our bodies. Um, the masculine side of our body rests on the right side of our bodies, okay? Energetically, when we do things that are of more of a linear way of thinking, those things lie on the left side of your body. And I have been operating so much of that masculine side, meaning I never took my own self care into consideration. I always sacrificed it. I always sacrificed all my wants and needs for the sake of everybody else. It was something that I was conditioned to believe and thrive for is called the sacrifice badge. You know,
Mm,
if I wasn't doing for everybody else and sacrificing myself, I was not worthy.
mhm,
And that mindset is set in the masculine side of doing, doing, doing. The feminine side is the left side of the body. Okay. I was not operating from the feminine side. I wasn't thinking from my heart and my mind, but from the expectations of everybody else and sacrificing and and abandoning my femininity, my heart, my soul. It came very apparent to me when I saw a Reiki master and had energy work done. And she said, your right side is lit up. And it made sense as to why it was lit up, because I was living on only the masculine side of my life. She said my left side was completely black and it was dead, nearly dead. And at first I took it as, well, I did have a hysterectomy that year. And, the womb is a very big part of being a woman. And she's like, nope, that's not what I mean. The feminine side is the being. And being, I thought maybe was just like being still, but no, being was being the individual you need to be in order to live out your purpose and your destiny. There are things you need to do, which is honor yourself, honor your needs, honor your wants by having boundaries, listening to the body, listening to the soul, listening to your intuition, and loving it and embodying it. And I wasn't doing that. What is interesting about this is that the left side of my body is where all my injuries and surgeries have been, and that is where my breast cancer was. My
Wow.
right side, I've never had anything wrong with it. Even when I turned 40, Klein, I don't think I've ever told you this. When I turned 40, I had to have 4 root canals, and I have 3 fake teeth and it's all on the left side of my
Wow.
face, of my mouth. Nothing on the right side. Everything is the
Mhm.
left side. So, a part of living in the feminine side is having the ability to receive.
Mhm.
So it makes total sense why it's difficult for women to be in their being, or anybody, man or woman. All men and women have a masculine side, a feminine side. It's hard because as humans, we are conditioned to live in the masculinity of doing, doing, doing in order to achieve and have and feel worthy, feel accomplished, feel loved. But really, it's not. It's the being, and knowing that just for who you are in your complete rawness and truth makes you worthy and deserving and loved.
So, how did you take this knowledge and apply it in your own life to re-light up your feminine side?
Mm, yeah. So for me, I was very fortunate during my breast cancer journey. The founder of Hypno Breathwork did a 12-week intensive course with me. Um, and we worked through a lot of my blocks. And I had the awareness that I knew that I was holding a lot of energetic blocks to do with resentment and anger. Throughout most of my life, especially my childhood, I was taught how to exactly behave, what to say, what to do, because my family was scared it would tarnish their reputation. Every day before I walked out the door, I would be told, just remember what you do, what you say, even how you look in your dress. I was told how is a representation of us. Don't embarrass us. Okay. So my truest self, my authenticity, my passions were asked to be shoved down and ignored. And I was able to go back into that childhood and feel that pain again and hug her and tell her I love her and she is now safe to be fully in herself. And when your life is threatened and you don't know how much longer you have to live, that in itself is a true breaking yourself open moment, because you think, if I die, what do I want to leave behind? How do I want to be remembered? Do I want to have any regrets? And I did not want to have any regrets. And I knew for a very long time I had been regretting not being true to myself. not
Mm.
living in the authenticity.
So, what are a couple little things that you noticed you used to hold yourself back on
Mm,
because of all that conditioning and stuff? And then after processing and comforting yourself through that, what are some little things?
oh
Even
my God.
I feel like the tiniest things are the best. Like tiny little things that you do now or say now or just embody
Yeah.
now that you've been able to let yourself do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I have to laugh. One of them is swearing.
Hence
One
your
of
book
the
title.
Yep, hence the book title. One is swearing. Um, One is swearing, yeah. Um, Here are some really cool little examples, just even recently in the last few months. Okay, so, um, I tried to grow out my hair again. Now that it's all back, I don't have these little bald patches and it's thicker. I tried to grow it back. And when I did, I started to feel myself being compressed. I would look in the mirror and I'm just like, who the hell is that? Like, I wouldn't recognize myself. And so I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not going to grow my hair out. I'm going to shave it. I'm going to keep up with this mohawk that I'm loving and I feel so amazing in it and I feel like it's me. I'm going to do this. Another crazy thing is I used to hate the color red because it's loud and it draws attention. And I never wanted to do that. I was told to be quiet and subdued and unnoticed. And now I only paint my nails red. I love the color red. I love the color red. And still not on a vehicle, but on my nails, I love the color red. I walked into my closet. This was probably about 5 months ago. I'm looking for something to wear, and everything in my closet looked unrecognizable. It was as almost as some other woman moved in, and I'm like, whose clothes are these? Who who the heck bought these? Like, I can't believe I ever bought them. This isn't me. This isn't me. So I went on Pinterest and I'm like, what are clothes that I could feel that I was attracted to that like really lit me up and stuff. And I worked on a new wardrobe and now my clothes, my style has changed. And even my home, like I told you, like our home doesn't feel like a sanctuary anymore. It is a home that was a style of a home that I lived in about 10 years ago, but it feels icky because it just doesn't feel like really me. It doesn't like a sanctuary to the soul and the heart. And so we're changing that, right? So those are like little things that I'm doing that I'm not compressing of what's expected, what you would typically see everybody else. I also am saying really what's on my heart and what on my head without fearing how somebody else is going to react
Mhm.
because I can't control somebody else's triggers. I don't know everybody's triggers, but as long as I'm saying it out of the perspective, I'm not saying it because I want to hurt them or get back at them or for revenge. It's just truly out of this is my heart and my mind. This is what I'm thinking. I'm gonna say it. You know, where before I
Mm,
just like nod my head and smile or agree. It's not happening anymore. It's not happening.
mm.
I'm saying my truth.
That's so huge. Like, it's something that can feel so small, but is so huge. That's something I've been working on a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first started working on it, even little things that seemed to be just tiny things that I would bring up would be really scary. And so there's can be a real fear about that. And I feel like that's totally normal. And
Yeah.
also, your hair is fabulous,
Thank you.
and it's so cool because I mean, it makes you you, and it's so memorable, and
Mm-hmm.
it's funny that if you were still following that old way of being, you
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't let your hair be that. You wouldn't let your
Mm-hmm.
hair be iconic
Nope.
or memorable.
Nope.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I wouldn't.
it really, I feel like, speaks to how important this is to shaping an identity.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to be me and influence myself versus having others influence me too, you
Mm,
know? That's a
mhm,
big mind switch. Like, we're so much bombarded with, especially social media and stuff, and seeing these perfections and ways how to look and be and act and how to run your business or what to do for your job and things like that. And no, like, don't let that influence you. Let your inner self influence you instead. Let your intuition influence you.
mm, yes.
Mhm.
Also, I'm curious, unless you wanna wait until you launch
Oh,
your new version of your coaching, I'm curious how that's played a role too in what kind of clients you're attracted to.
yeah. So with coaching, a lot of times we're needing to pick a niche. Who are the type of clients that we want to serve? And this last year, it was like, for the last few years, actually, it's just like primarily women. But now I'm opening up to men as well. And my modality with hypno breathwork is to be able to help people turn their pain into purpose and inner power. So that is who I'm serving, is people who have been going through or went through tremendous life transitions such as divorce, illness, job loss, empty nesting, those types of things, to help them come out on the other side so that they're not obsessing over pain anymore, that they're coming into obsessing over self care. So
Mm.
they can find their
Oh,
purpose and inner power again.
I
Yeah.
love that, and you are such an amazing example of that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. I mean, I think anyone can tell just by listening to your story so
Mm.
far. I'm curious too, if you could say in one sentence, and take your time to think about this if you want to.
One sentence, come on.
One sentence. I feel like you can come up with something
Really? Oh boy.
powerful.
No pressure flying, no
No,
pressure.
no pressure. The question is, in one sentence, how would you describe the art of turning pain into
Mm.
purpose in one sentence?
Hmm. Turning pain into your purpose is taking personal responsibilities for your response and your growth.
Mm.
And I think a really good example that I can give to explain this, even though you didn't ask for it, but I think I'm
Oh,
gonna give it.
no, please do. Please do. That's the thing. When you drop wisdom, you gotta explain it afterward.
Yeah. Yeah. My first example of this is my divorce from my husband, my first husband of 18 years. We were together for 25 and have 3 beautiful daughters together. That marriage ultimately ended with infidelity and a few other things. I could stay angry and upset with him, make his life miserable, but I took personal responsibility for that relationship too.
Mhm,
I look back at how I behaved in that relationship and what I could have done differently and better for him and myself. And by doing that, I was able to forgive him. I was able to have empathy and compassion for him. And we now have a beautiful relationship. That is how you turn pain into purpose. One example. Another example is not allowing yourself to be the victim, choosing to be the hero instead for yourself, not expecting other people to save you. Because, like I said, with my cancer, I can't control that I had cancer, but I can control how I respond. And that response is going to choose the experience. Yes, that's how you turn pain into purpose. Um, I also took that cancer journey as inspiration. Is there are so many women out there that are on their cancer journey that feel so alone and unheard and nobody understands them. So I find those women and I send them cards to let them know that I'm thinking of them. I'm sending them love and words of encouragement.
Mm.
I started that clothing line because I recognize that there is an unspoken journey with cancer that nobody tells you about. And that's the journey after your cancer is done, the treatment's end. And it is more painful and gruesome than the actual cancer itself. And so
Wow.
I created that clothing line to raise money to help people fund getting help for that journey after cancer. That
Mm.
is how you turn pain into purpose and inner power. You give back to what exactly gave you the pain, and you do it
Wow.
out of serving. If you can live a life of service, that is how you turn pain into purpose. And
Mm.
that's how I am moving through now versus moving through I have a goal. I need to do this because I have to make this much money or I want to be famous or whatever. No, that doesn't matter. Live a life of service, live a life of your purpose, and your life will be abundant forever.
Mm. It's all so profound. And what you just said too reminded me of what you mentioned at the beginning. You said something like, you talked about you had all the success
Mhm.
that you thought you wanted,
Mhm.
but it it wasn't actually what you wanted. So,
Mhm.
how has your idea of success changed
Mm.
from your divorce and your and breast cancer journey? What was your idea of success originally? And
Mm.
maybe talk a little bit
Yeah.
about where you were at that
Yeah.
point too, because
Yeah.
it's almost like you've lived 10 lives in this
I
one
feel like
life.
I
I
have.
swear.
I need a funeral. I need a
Yeah,
funeral. I need a
a,
few of them.
a couple of them.
Maybe we should do that. Fine.
Be so fun.
It would be so fun. Like bunch of us could have a funeral and put to rest our old identities so we can move forward. Oh, how
We need to
beautiful.
we need to do this.
We need to do this. All right. We will be talking more. This is great. A cabin in the woods.
Oh my god. Not that.
No?
Not
Okay. Not that
that
one.
scary.
Oh,
Just
okay.
like a death at a funeral kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Like a
Yeah.
comedy twist. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I love it. Okay.
I love it too. So
So,
so idea of success before your divorce and then after
mm,
your breast cancer
cancer.
journey.
Yeah. So before my divorce with my first husband, success looked like having over, 6 figures for income, having a big, perfect house, white picket fence, the perfect children, always perfectly dressed, taking vacations, being able to say yes, 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 being wanted and needed by everybody and everything. Um, that was success.
That sounds a lot like what you described, kind of the pressure that your parents put on you.
Yep.
Not to no fault of their own, they probably learned it as well, but
Yep.
it's interesting.
Yep. So we often inherit our parents' patterns as if it's DNA in our blood. So, which is fascinating. You even hear like you'll marry someone like for us women, we'll marry someone like our dad because we're following the footsteps of our mother or vice versa.
Mm.
It's like inheriting our genes and DNA from our parents, but in a behavioral form, if that makes sense. Um, yeah, so that was success for me back then, and it literally like keeping up with the Joneses or what we call the all-American dream.
What were you doing for a job at that point?
Yes, so I had 2 jobs. So the first 10 years, I was in banking as a regional operations manager for a sizable financial institution. So I was making 6 figures at a young age, 24, and my husband at the time was making 6 figures as well. So we were doing super well. As a hobby as a hobby, we, built and flipped houses as well. So that is what we were doing in our marriage. We made excellent business partners, by the way. Excellent. Um, yeah. Then I actually at 32 found myself in complete burnout, living in the bathroom of our master suite for 3 days, hugging a toilet in complete manic mode. Didn't eat, didn't drink, didn't sleep because every time I looked where the tile and the carpet met scared the fuck out of me. And that's when I knew like life had to change. I had always had a draw towards the study of why people do what they do. And I decided to pursue that. And I went back to school for clinical psych and behavioral sciences. When I came out of school, then I actually ended up starting working in the public school system in special ed, working with kids that have behavioral disorders. Absolutely loved it. Got burnt out from that. And that is when I lost my job as well in education and went back into banking to make a living. And while I was there, I kept getting the tug. There's the tug like, this isn't it, Jondrea. This isn't the end all. You're really meant to serve people a different way. You're constantly trying to coach your coworkers to do better and to go within themselves and to regulate their nervous system and to understand why they're doing what they're doing and why they keep repeating the patterns that they have and blah, blah, blah. Like it was insane. And once I decided to pursue more of the coaching industry and had some momentum with that, then I left that job. And that's what I've been doing ever since. Last year, when it was the most successful year I had during my cancer journey with that, and had a lot to celebrate in finding myself that I was really unfulfilled. I realized that success doesn't come from numbers for me. It doesn't come from being needed by a lot of people, that my worth doesn't come from others or other things, external things, that my success is a feeling within myself. My success isn't validated by other people, but validated by myself. So for me, success beyond like the all American dream and what we're told success is supposed to be like has been difficult for me to embody. And I'm still working on that. But I feel successful when I know at the end of the day, I'm grounded. I was able to overcome challenges and find lessons from those challenges. That is success for me right now. It's a feeling within myself. And that is where I hope it stays.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, what I've noticed in my own life is that, particularly, I'm talking about career, like different jobs or things that I've tried,
Mhm.
they
Yeah.
always tie into what I'm doing next.
Oh,
And I think that our whole career life is just trying different things and figuring out what we're made to do. So
yeah.
I'm trying to figure that out. But one
Mhm.
example is I just randomly thought of, oh, when I was in college, I was a sophomore in college. I took this class. It was, what do you call those? Those classes that you have to take, liberal arts
Oh, yeah.
or whatever, electives, or I don't know what you call them, but one of those was I had to take a class in theater. And so I
Mm.
took this class, and it was essentially how to speak. And they talk a lot about enunciation. And it was in a theater way, but I still remember little tidbits from that class. And I feel like it's helped me with podcasting and enunciating and speaking really clearly. So it's just, yeah, it's just so funny how even the things that seem so insignificant can still
Mhm.
be a part of what I do now and add to sort of the toolkit. So, I mean, you've had so many different work experiences. And
Mhm.
like you said, you're constantly refining, specifically in our coaching business. What is this? Who
Mhm.
am I serving? And
Mhm.
what am I offering? So I think
Mhm.
it's really cool to hear your story and how you offer the things that have always sort of been a part of what you've done for work.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? I think, yeah, our lives are showing us all along the way, but in the moment, sometimes when it's trying to show us, we're not ready to see it. And so then it like shoves us or spanks us hard with like some really big ones. like
Yep,
my
spank.
2016 and last year.
Yeah.
Because because also like with coaching, I knew I wanted to serve people in that realm, but I didn't know who. I was
Mm,
always like, oh, maybe it's this group of people. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's professionals. Maybe it's not. I had no idea. But now it's so certain and aligned. Like it's so, for me, I will not move or do things unless it's aligned with me anymore as well. Because if it isn't aligned with you, then you're abandoning yourself as well.
mhm,
So this feels so aligned. It makes sense. And as you reflect over the course of your entire life, you're like, oh shit, here we go. You
mm,
can have, and I have nothing wrong with degrees, certifications, and all that. That all plays an important role. Don't get me wrong. But having lived experience is so important. It's kind of like somebody who teaches entrepreneurship, but has never owned, started, or ran a business themselves.
mm.
Like, it's great you can teach that, but I feel like if you have lived some of that experience, that just makes it so much more deeper and relatable for those that you're serving, but also to build trust from, because you can feel them. You can have
Mhm.
compassion even deeper for them.
Yeah, the word that comes to mind is authority. I feel like you can know so many things intellectually, you can read all the books and all that, but until you've actually lived through it, like I couldn't really speak to breast cancer survivors about their journey and how to discover their new identity.
Mhm.
Like I haven't lived through that. You have. And it reminds me of what you said earlier of, we were talking about your pain to purpose, which
Mhm.
now that I'm looking at your whiteboard, does that say pain to purpose? I
It
see
does.
pain too.
It says turning pain to purpose. Yes.
I love it. I love it. But it's
Yeah.
like you've lived it. And so you're not coming from a place of intellectual knowledge, although you have a ton and
Mhm.
that helps too. But more importantly, you have true authority because you've been there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all coming.
Oh,
Oh, Klein. That's so beautiful.
oh, Jondrea. So, I'm curious, you're you're working on a couple different things. Do you feel like
Mhm.
you're balancing each or in terms of how can how can we support you? How can people support you or if people are interested in working with you,
Mm.
what are good ways to get in contact with you?
Yeah. Thanks. Thank you. Um, People can get in contact with me for now. They can follow me on Instagram at Jondrea_Phelps, or they can go to my current website, which is jpempowerment.biz. Um, they can go there. It's going to be changing, which is cool. But what they really can do to support me is just to support themselves and to go within themselves and choose the journey to not run away from the pain or the fear, but run towards it.
Mhm,
And I think it's important to, you and I talked about this in my cancer journey. You were a really important role through that journey in allowing myself to thrive. I just want to let you know, and I'm so grateful
mhm,
for that. You really showed up for me because when people go through difficult things in their lives, people will either stay or they will leave, and you find out who your true friends are. And I just can't thank you enough for being there and showing up for me. I really needed
mhm.
that. And just such a beautiful heart and a wealth of information, too.
Not even a question, no hesitation to support you however you needed, and thank you for receiving it. I'm so glad you're here, and I remember when I got that call that you got diagnosed,
Mhm.
I just, like, sent me into shock. It was like, I've never had someone so close to me go through something like that, and
Yeah.
it did remind me how precious life is and how precious moments with you are, and
Mhm.
to make time.
You. Yeah. No, I think I really appreciate that, and like I said, our friendship and being there, and the beauty of I think our friendship too is, like, we don't have to be in each other's faces 24/7.
Mm-mm.
Like, we just pick up where we left off, you
Yeah.
know? And we
It's like
know if we need something, we're gonna be there for each other. We're gonna be there for each
totally.
other. But what people can really do to support, like I said, you and I talked about this during my cancer journey, is resilience. And I do want to make it clear to people when I talk about turning pain into purpose or stop obsessing over your pain and start working on your self care, I'm not asking them to ignore any feelings. Okay. I'm not asking them to numb themselves and not acknowledge. What I'm asking people to do is to face the pain and the fear and allow themselves to feel it, go within, process it, but don't allow yourself to stay there forever. Okay. So, like, I had moments, so many moments of crying, debilitating crying, hard to get out of bed. I let myself be in there, and to help me understand why I was there, I had to feel it all before I could understand my purpose, before I
Mm.
could tap into the inner power of me. So, I'm asking people, just don't ignore your fears. Don't run away from it. Don't ignore your pain. Process it, feel it, but don't stay there.
Mm.
Do what you need to do, but do something that's going to be productive for you, that's going to light you up inside, elevate you from within so you can elevate every friendship you have, every room you walk into, every conversation you have just naturally from just being elevated within. Yeah.
Do you have any Elevated Women events coming up?
We don't right now, we don't have anything planned. Typically, we're looking at October,
Okay.
maybe, so you can keep your eyes open for then, but we haven't had anything concrete yet.
Yeah, so follow Jondrea on Instagram. She makes some really awesome reels. She also
Mm,
stays really well up to date on events that are going on, workshops. I've seen you post a couple hypno breathwork sessions at
yeah.
yoga studio that
Yes.
you also teach at,
Yeah.
and those look really awesome. So all of that can be found
Mhm.
at her Instagram, and I'll link everything in the show notes so it's easy to click.
Cool. Thank you, Klein.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on today. It was
Aw.
such a blessing, and you dropped so much wisdom
Mm,
that I think I needed to hear. I'm sure many other people needed to hear.
mm,
So thank you for
mm.
being you. Thank you for
Yeah.
your haircut. Thank you for your
Yeah,
red
you
nails.
were here, guys. My red nails. They're great. Well, thank you.
Ah, and thank you, everyone, for listening. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and we will talk again soon. Bye.